Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the period. In order to do that, you might want to rewrite this. Y equals tangent pi over 4 times x. The reason why I did that is to show you that the b value is pi over 4. Raise your hand if you got pi over 4. So again, you can always rewrite the fractions so that we can see that our b value is pi over 4. My a value is 1, but remember this is a fake amplitude. It's not real because it goes higher than that value, but it helps us at least identify points. Partner B, tell partner A, what is the equation you're going to use to find the length of the period? Yes, Omar? The equation we're going to use to find the period.
Pi over b.
Pi over b. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to substitute in the b value. So now I have pi divided by pi over 4. If that confuses you, I'm just going to write it sideways. Pi over 1 divided by pi over 4. I'm going to change that to what? Multiplication. We're going to take the reciprocal there. 4 over pi. And I can cancel. Raise your hand if you got a period of 4. This tells me the length of my graph when it starts and it ends. But it does not tell me very specifically where it starts and ends. So I'm going to use the inequality 0 to pi. Everyone say everything to the left. So everything to the left of the trig function, tangent, which is pi x over 4, that's what I'm putting in here. So I have pi over 4x. To solve for x, I'm going to have to multiply by the reciprocal, 4 over pi. And then there I can just simplify. Four times pi over pi times 4 is just 4 pi over 5. 4 pi over 4 pi, which is equals 1. So you're just left with the x there. 0 times anything is 0. And if you cancel your pi's there, you're just left with 4. So you're going to start at 0, and you're going to end at 4, and you'll recognize that as a distance of 4. To help you brainstorm about the graphs, let's just say this is your first time graphing tangent. I'm going to draw a number line here, but in tangent, I need to put more of my graph to the left and to the right. So I'm going to kind of plan ahead to make sure I have enough space there. I like to do bullet points for my first set. And then later on we'll use hash marks. I'm going to start at 0. Down here. In class, what am I going to write over here? 4. 0 plus 4 divided by 2? 0 plus 2 divided by 2? 1. And 2 plus 4 divided by 2? 3. I found basically my A, B, C's, and D's and my periods. I found the intervals, and now I'm going to find my 5x values. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm going to take my x value, and now I'm going to multiply by it by pi over 4. Class, what's 0 times pi over 4? 1 times pi over 4? 2 times pi over 4? 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. 3 times pi over 4? And 4 times pi over 4. Pi. Now I'm going to take the tangent of this value. So tangent of our values. Now here is kind of like the golden row. Everyone say golden row. I just made it up. The golden row is kind of like for sine. You guys remember for sine, it's like 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0. Do you know what I'm talking about? And cosine is what? 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, tangent is going to be very similar to this one. Okay, well, you're like, well, I don't know what to memorize. Well, you go back to the unit circle. Now, I don't need to draw all of the unit circle, I just need to draw parts of it. For example, tangent at 0. Well, here's 0. Tangent is y over x. And the order pair here is what? 1, 0. So look, I like to label it all the time. X, y. Alphabetical, right? So tangent is 0 divided by 1, which is 0. Tangent at pi over 4. Well, think about it. I'm putting x's here because those are the 30s, right? And you're counting here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So this order pair is radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2. We're going to learn later on that, yes, this is x over y, but that's also cosine sine, and we're going to learn that it is a quotient identity, y over x, or sine over cosine. The expression, this over itself, is just equal to 1. Pi over 2 is here. Class, what's the order pair for pi over 2? 0, 1. If you get confused, always label it x, y. Tangent is y over x. So that would be 1 divided by 0. Class, 1 divided by 0 is undefined. If you ever get confused, please use your calculator. 3 pi over 4. It's the same order pair, but your x values are negative. Notice I'm always going back to the unit circle. Y over x, the expression over a negative expression, same thing over the same thing but negative. Positive divided by negative is just negative. If you haven't seen the shortcut yet, all 45s and anything divided by 4, tangent and cotangent will always be positive 1 and negative 1. And then at pi, my order pair is negative 1, 0. Tangent at pi is just going to be 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph this. I'm always going to graph my undefined asymptotes first. That's at 2. I have 0 here, so I can draw the y-axis. Make up your own scale. I'll just do every 3 is going to be 1. And negative 1. At 0, I have 0. At 1, I have 1. At 2, I have undefined. At 3, I have -1. At 4, I have 0. If you graph it, it looks something like this. Remember, tangent looks like a snake, and this doesn't look like a snake. So we're going to have to do the next step, which means to graph more. Well, how do you graph more? Extend your graph. Notice how it took us 5 points. So from the orange asymptotes, I'm going to need a total of 5 points. Count with me. Ready, set, go. Count with me. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
From the orange asymptote, I need 5 points. Count with me. Ready, set, go. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
Class, what am I counting by? So this will be what? And then this direction will be what? Okay, think about this. Every 5th point, look, watch my fingers, look. Do you see how they're the same? This is going to be the same, and this is going to be the same. So here, I can just draw an asymptote. Now, if that does not make sense to you, you can go through and just do the same thing. -2 times pi over 4, find the tangent at that value. Look what happened. That should be a dotted line. Math gods forgive us. And you'll notice this pattern if you haven't seen this one. Tangent has these 3 points in a line. So that's 1, 0, and -1. Same thing over here. 1, -1, 0, and 1. Forgot to draw my asymptote over here. And now we can make sure we have tangent. It looks like a snake. And you can see a couple of things here. You can see that our period was 4. Can you see between the asymptotes has a distance of 4? Do you see that? We talked about how the amplitude is not 1, it's a fake amplitude because it goes on forever, right? And the reason why I had to draw more of the graph is because once I draw more, then I have 2 complete tangents. I was looking for 1 complete graph, but it's just easier just drawing it.